Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
The conversations have moved from social media to the group chat. And the group chat, depending on which application that you're using on your phone, the group chats are pretty lit. And the group chats are the thing that, make you want to walk around with a charger, because there's always going to be a conversation. There's always going to be something going on. There's always going to be something crazy popping off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I want to thank you all for tuning in as you do each and every week. Shout out to those of you who are watching on YouTube as well as Spotify. Man, check this out. Okay. I was having a conversation the other day with some of the homies, and they were being funny, or at least trying to make fun of the fact that, I'm heavily involved in social media. And then something told me to correct them, because the reality was I used to be heavily on social media. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I still have social media profiles on almost every platform, but I'm not on it like I used to be. And it's because of a lot of different reasons, and I'll get into it in just a second. But I'm not there anymore, but I still am involved heavily in conversations. The only difference is the conversations have moved from social media to the group chat. And the group chat, depending on which application that you're using on your phone, the group chats are pretty lit. And the group chats are the thing that, make you want to walk around with a charger, because there's always going to be a conversation. There's always going to be something going on. There's always going to be something crazy popping off. And so on this episode, I'm going to dip my toe into these particular apps and some of the conversations that we have. And the reason why I say dip my toe is because obviously some of this stuff I can't reveal, because crew law does not allow you to divulge, any things that happen in the group chat, because what happens in the group chat stays in the group chat. It's kind of like Vegas. But yeah, I used to really, really have a lot of conversations on Facebook and Twitter. And again, I'm still on Facebook, still on Twitter. But I'm at the point now, and particularly for Facebook, I'm at the point, or I have been at the point probably for the better part of the last year, where if you go look at my timeline, the only thing you're going to see as far as stuff that I posted is pictures or, reels of me and my family and friends and podcast stuff. That's it. I used to, something would happen in the world and I'd immediately go to Facebook and type it up or, give my opinion. I stopped doing that. To me, it was counterproductive. And there's no knock on any of you who do that, because quite a few of you still do that. And what's interesting is the people who do it, my friends, my family, I may like it or give it a heart. But I rarely comment on people's pages anymore. I definitely don't get into the conversations that I once did. And it's because it's just not, to me, it's pointless. I don't really travel in those spaces to where I feel compelled to be engaged in that type of activity. It's just not, it's not fun anymore. And Facebook is cool. Twitter has been a disappointment for me. I'm not going to lie. It has been a disappointment. Now, I still have a Twitter page. I have a Twitter page, a personal page. I have a page for the 12 Kyle podcast. I have a page for the Raps Old podcast. And I'm going to keep those pages because, again, that's where I need to put content out. I really don't know how many people that I have who follow me that see the links or the clips and then they say, hey, let me go listen to this podcast. I'm sure there's a few. There's really no quantitative way of telling who does or who doesn't. I mean, you can see how many views you get based on your posts, but again, I'm not really, I'm not there anymore. There was a point in time where, you know, you would wake up and before you brushed your teeth, you checked Twitter. And that was when Twitter was popping. And I say this as someone who I got on Twitter, 2007? Like, these are the 2007, 2008. I can't remember. But Twitter was a different place back then. Me and my friends who I met online, we had blogs. And I still have my blog, but I don't post anything on there. I just post podcast stuff. So, you know, we kind of started migrating from our blogs to social media, Twitter more specifically. And it was dope because it was a way that you could keep up with your people in real time. And the cool thing about Twitter was, as opposed to Facebook, was that Twitter never went to sleep. Like, you literally could be up at 4:00 in the morning, and over time, you know, as you built up your followers, there'll be people tweeting, you know, and it didn't matter because they were all across the world or whatever the case may be. Or they could be in your backyard and they just, you know, up at 4 a.m. just tweeting. But the early days of Twitter was so dope. And me and Eclectic, shout out to the homie Eclectic, we talk about this all the time about how, you know, tweets came so infrequent that, like, for me, I literally would get a text message anytime one of my followers tweeted something. And I mean, like, you might average one tweet a day. Imagine going a whole day and it's just one tweet. And that's it. And, you know, Eclectic might tweet something. I get his tweet. Pretty Black might tweet something. I get her tweet. Homie D Love Hall might tweet something. I get his tweet. And that was it. And it would just be a text message and you could respond or not respond. But imagine, with all the followers that you have, imagine getting a text message every time they posted something. And it wouldn't necessarily have to be something directed to me. It could just be a random thought or whatever Eclectic was eating or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it was different back then. So I remember just even sporting events, NFL Sundays were always funny on Twitter, and it still is to some degree. I don't participate like I used to, obviously, but you can, if you have enough followers, you can get the gist of what's going on in just about everybody's game without Sunday Ticket because people are tweeting about it. NBA Twitter was cool. But you know, it's gotten silly over the years. And then honestly, if I'm being honest, things changed right around 2011. That's when everybody showed up, you know, but from 2008 to maybe 2010, Twitter was dope. And it was almost like the best kept secret because there were very few people on Twitter, not like how it is today. And then 2011, celebrities started showing up. And then like 2012, weirdos started showing up. And by the time the bots came after Twitter was purchased and changed to X, I mean, it's even, I think I've got like maybe 2,800 followers. I think I follow like maybe 2,000 people or something like that. I don't know. I don't look at the numbers. I'm just guessing. But, you know, I can't even, like, you really have to just tweet from your own timeline, because if you get into the main timeline, you'll see anything, you know. Now, some things I will block. A lot of stuff gets tweeted into my timeline or retweeted by people that I follow. And, you know, if I see fight videos, I'm blocking you. If I see anything with somebody getting shot, I'm blocking you. If I see some idiotic, you know, political stuff, I'm blocking you. I have no reason nor desire to listen to anything coming from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So, anytime I see something, I either skip it. But even now with some of the ads, you can't even bypass some of that stuff. But anyway, long story short, I moved away from it. now social media for me pretty much becomes memes and videos, and that's what happens in the group chat. Now, before I move on to the group chat, let me end the discussion about Twitter in saying that I still think Twitter is a great place to get information from. Like if some breaking news happens, Shams tweets something about a trade in the NBA, or Adam Schefter is talking about something with the NFL, or God forbid somebody pass away. Twitter is usually the best place where you can get that information fast. You can't get it. You can go to CNN.com, but they may or may not be reporting it, or ESPN.com. But it was that site, Twitter, in itself is someplace where, I think you can get information quickly, but you got to be careful because with the bots and all of these fake accounts, you don't know if you're talking to a real person. And sometimes you have to verify if something is real or not. You may have to check one or two sources. Don't just retweet something just because you see it, because it could very well not be true. But like I said, as far as the apps are concerned, when you talk about Instagram, WhatsApp, GroupMe, and text messages, that's where my group chats are. It's a lot of memes, and it's a lot of videos, and it's a lot of funny stuff in between. The thing I love about, each one of those apps is that there's something to take from all of them, and something to take from all of the groups. And I'll talk a little bit about the groups in just a second. There are some serious conversations. Now, I mentioned earlier, I'm never going to talk or have a discussion or have an argument about anything political on social media. To me, it's pointless. And for me, it's pointless. I'm not in that position anymore. I can't say that I didn't do that in the past, but I don't operate in those spaces. And to be honest, I mean, like, at this point, if you're going back and forth with somebody about something political, people already made their chance. They've already made their stances. Excuse me. You're on one side, you're on the other side, or you're in the middle. And, all it is just back and forth. There's no real discussion about how we fix these things. Of course, I have my opinions, but there's no real conversation about how to fix these things or anything. So it's a lot of wasted air, a lot of wasted energy, and I don't have time for it. But in the group chat, there are very political conversations going on. In the group chat, there are some conversations, not just about politics, but just about the world. There are conversations about Black people. I'm Black, in case you're not listening. I mean, in case you're not watching it on YouTube or Spotify. So yeah, we have a lot of different conversations, and I think that's the beauty of it, because there's some groups, some group chats where there's going to be some political talk, and there's going to be some group chats where it's just strictly sports, and we're just kicking it about sports stuff, and it can get hot and heavy. And then there's some group chats where it's a little mixed bag of everything, and I love all of it. In those conversations, it could be music or sports or both. And those are always entertaining and always fun. And then, of course, there's some group chats where it's just jokes and jokes and jokes and trash talking. As my boy Rod Walker says, talking shit and drinking spit. Shout out to Rod Walker. And congrats on the new podcast. Big ups to you. But yeah, it's a little bit of everything. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the group chats that I'm in. I guess I could start probably with the text messages. And if I don't mention, if you're watching this and you're a member of some of these group chats and I don't mention our chat, do not take it personal. There's a reason why I did not divulge what we talk about. One of the group chats on my text messages, obviously, is my family group chat, meaning my wife and my kids. That one, it's always pretty light. I like it when the kids have banter between each other. And then sometimes, when on any given day, somebody will say something and it just reminds me, like, this is my child. Like, like I remember when you were born. I remember when you were 5. I remember your first day at school, and now you're 26. Um, those type of things. So you literally are having conversations with your kids. And then from that group chat, me and my sons, we have 3 sons, Dion, who's 26 at the time of this recording, Cameron, who's 23 at the time of this recording, and Brandon, who is 19 at the time of this recording. We have a group chat. So it's just the fellas, just, us. And that's always interesting. Always sports talk or music or whatever, talking shit. I love the fact that our kids are so competitive. They're competitive with the world, but they're also very competitive with each other. And they are siblings who, they love each other, but if they can get one up on the other, it is a fun time. But even between both groups, we normally post a lot of pictures. One of the things that I do is I will post pictures that I posted of them on social media years ago, like Facebook, because Facebook gives you these, memories like 10 years ago you were doing this or whatever like that. And sometimes I see pictures that I posted 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and I post and I put it in the family group chat, and the kids are amazed because they've never seen these pictures before, didn't know they existed. But I also let them know, like, it just shows you just a sense of pride, that I have in them. Um, and then there's a bigger family group chat with like me, my mom, my aunt, my cousins. Um, and that one's fun. That one can be trash talking, political stuff, family stuff. Is always it hardly a day goes by without anything popping off in that chat. Of course, my boys, Dead End Sports, we have a group chat. That group chat is every day, all day. Sports, um, anything from the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, the WNBA is very heavy in that in that group chat. That's probably the only group chat that I have where there's legit WNBA talk all the time. Um, and I like it. I like it a lot. And so, NFL, the NFL talk, the trash talk on Sundays. And one of my favorite things about the Dead End group chat is we have this saying: if something happens, if we're watching the game and we're texting each other in the group chat, we always come back with the phrase, "It's early." So if your favorite team is out to a 20-point lead and you're talking trash, the text message is going to hit the group chat. It's early, because that's to let you know that it is early, and like whatever's happening, understand that the game ain't over. So I love that. And my boys that I went to play high school ball with, Varsity Club. That's the name of our chat, the Varsity Club. We got a little bit of everything in there. Jokes, constant jokes, and you will get joked on. I'm not going to divulge in it, but there's a member of our group who can famously find pictures and memes of just about everybody in our crew. And so that's always funny. Um, and that's all I'm gonna say as far as group chats. It's I have a few more, but for now, I'm just gonna divulge just those few group chats. But the conversations are always going, always popping, and then those are the regular group chats. But also, I have group text messages. Um, and I can, as far as group chats, can't forget about the homies. Um, Baylor, BTG for President is his podcast. Dolomite, the Too Much Game podcast, and King Germ, Pod and Saved Our Marriage is his podcast. Our group chat, we could talk about podcast stuff, but we talk about a little bit of any and everything in it, and it's a lot of jokes about wealth, a lot of rich jokes. And listen, I'm not rich, so it's about the 3 of those rich guys. And then another group chat with Britt, Baylor, and J Bug. A little bit of everything: podcast stuff, friendship stuff, life stuff, the weather. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. And then me and Baylor and Britt have a group chat. So it's like it's a bunch of group chats on text messages. Let me see what else. Instagram. My Instagram group chats are very, very interesting. there is a group chat with me, Baylor, the aforementioned Baylor, and Dolomite and King Germ. So we got text messages and we got Instagram. A lot of memes. And because me and Germ are on the East Coast and Baylor and Dolomite on the West Coast, I'm in Atlanta, Germ's in Florida, Dolomite and Baylor are in LA. You literally could get a meme at 4 a.m. because that's 1 a.m. and Dolomite's just getting up. You know what I mean? So, and it is constant in that group. Constant. What other group? There's another group chat that I could talk about, and that's my crew, the Oceans crew. And that's the crew of my boys that I grew up with. There's so much in that group chat. I mean, everything from music to sports to the ridiculous. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. But that's a wild group chat. I got my group chat with my brother, my cousin Scott, and his kids, my little cousins. I can't call them my little cousins; they're grown. Kiara, and Jonathan, and Nia, and that one's a lot of politics, a lot of funny stuff, a lot of Black Power stuff. So it's a little bit of everything. But I have quite a few group chats on Instagram, and the group chats are they are always fun. And I have chats outside of group chats, but I'm just going to focus on the group chats for now. But yeah, Instagram is something else. Let's see, WhatsApp. There's really three main crews on the WhatsApp. There's there's the RSB crew. No, excuse me, RSB4L crew. And that crew is memes, it's jokes, it's four dudes who've known each other. I mean, Irv and Ryan are cousins. Ryan and I lived across the street from each other. That's my boy. We grew up together. I know Irv since he was coming down, and I've known Zay since I moved here, or almost since I moved here. And Zay's from here. Zay and Irv went to school together. So it's a little bit of everything in that group chat. Then there's the crew. The crew, man, it now this particular group chat on WhatsApp, we took our group chat from emails in 2000 to WhatsApp. And so I've literally been chatting with these dudes since 2000. Maybe, no, it wasn't any earlier than that. I take that back. Probably around 2002. But still a long time. And I remember there were some guys in the group who had not even met each other before. And unfortunately, we lost one of the members in the crew, our boy Boogie. Shout out to George Boogie Brown, passed away a couple of years ago. The heart of the crew. We miss you, Boog. Boog was a math teacher in Orlando, diehard Cowboys fan, diehard North Carolina Tar Heels fan. And so I miss Boog a lot, but I miss Boog even more because, when Dallas loses, man, I have nothing but jokes, and I'm a Giants fan. So, but that crew is a tight knit crew, man. We've been sending memes and jokes and conversations forever. I mean, literally, again, that group chat started as emails, and I think when WhatsApp came along, when WhatsApp came along, we were just like, okay, let's take this from the email, because we literally would send emails all day long. And then the last group is my crew from back home. These are my boys. These are cats I grew up with. My boy Rudy, Zell, Derek, Zoe, and Ryan. And what's interesting is we all have been tight forever. Been rocking with Zell and Rudy since I was in the 7th grade. I think I married Derek when I was in the 10th grade. So we all went to high school together. Like I said, Ryan grew up across the street from me. Zoe used to live next door to me back in the 80s in my old neighborhood. And these are my boys' boys. Like we go like this is the crew right here. And I can't tell you what we talk about in that group chat. I gave that big introduction. Here's the thing. Any and everything that you can think of gets joked upon. So if let's just say, how can I say this? If you went to high school with us, right? And so everybody in the group knows you because we all went to high school together. And let's say you post something that you think is fly on Facebook, we might see it and it may be a discussion in our group chat. Maybe. And you might get clowned. Of course, you don't know this, but you might get clowned. And you don't necessarily have to have gone to school with us. If we see any weird, oddball stuff that could get you joked on, it may get screenshot and put in the group chat. So I could, because I went to South Carolina State University, see something on Facebook. I'm like, hey, look at this, fellas. And then the next thing you know, it's a joke. It's a joke fest for 3 hours. Or Ezel he went to Hampton. He could screenshot something from somebody he knew was from Hampton, and it's in the group chat. That's about all I'm gonna tell you about that particular group chat. Again, we're on WhatsApp and we're on Instagram, and it is wild all day, every day. I love it. I love it. It makes it more special, the fact that we're all close friends and we've been friends. We've been boys like this literally and figuratively forever. And so because Ryan and I are the only two that live in the same city, and I'll be honest, we live in Atlanta, and I hardly ever see Ryan in Atlanta. I always see Ryan when we go to Florence because he literally lives across the street from me back home. And it's funny because if you follow me on social media, I think was it 2024? Yeah, I think almost 2 years ago. I was in the airport here. I flew in from Houston, and Ryan was flying to Houston. So the plane that I was getting off, he was getting on, and we took a picture in the airport and laughed about it because we only see each other. We always see each other someplace other than Atlanta. And so that the picture we said, we put a caption like, hey, look, we're hanging out in Atlanta in the airport. And last but not least, not WhatsApp, I'm sorry, GroupMe. The GroupMe group chat, there's a couple. Let me get the names right here because I don't want to mess up the names of the groups. I've got quite a few GroupMe group chats. The Twitter fam. These are my people who we started out. We all met each other virtually on Twitter. We've had this group chat seemingly like forever. We keep it cool. This is a place where we can vent. We always saying what's up to each other in the morning. We tap in throughout the day. Good people, just really, really good people. People that I feel honored to have known. And what's cool is, we're connected here, but we're connected on just about every other social media app as well. So we're there. And then let's see what other group chat is there. And then the main group chat on GroupMe is the Cypher. What can I say about the Cypher that won't get me into trouble? The Cypher consists of my boys from college, from South Carolina State University. Now the funny thing is not everybody in the Cypher went to South Carolina State University, but almost all of us are connected through South Carolina State University. For example, my boy Malachi. Malachi went to and graduated from East Tennessee State University. But I met Malachi on the campus of South Carolina State University because Malachi's from Orangeburg, which is where South Carolina State is. And I think I met Malachi maybe when I was, I don't know, sophomore, junior or something like that. And me and all of the dudes, it's 12 or 13 of us on the Cypher. I'm not going to reveal any names, but I mean, like, we go so far back. I mean, like, we go all the way back to our college days, and we have some very unique relationships. We have some great experiences. We've done golf trips together, and it's the thing that I can say about the Cypher is that every day there is a running joke, and there's going to be a point in some time where you're going to be the running joke, and it never fails. It never fails. And there's just certain things that you're going to get joked on no matter what. Like, and I mentioned this on Danny Foxworth's podcast, and it's worth repeating because I think it's funny. Like, before GroupMe had the autocorrect button or edit button, you couldn't, if you once you put something in the group chat, it was there, right? And so one day, our boy Twan, shout out to Twan. Twan was getting on a plane. At the time he was living in Charlotte, he was flying to Houston. And so Twan, so we always let each other know, hey, I'm getting on the road to South Carolina. I'll hit y'all when I get there. And we always check in, and everybody says when they've reached their destination. And so this particular day, Twan is an early flight, and so I can only assume he was on the plane. And he said, "Wheels up, on my way to," and I guess he wanted to type Houston, and my guess is he typed HOU. Well, if you have a smartphone, sometimes your smartphone can be very smart. And so instead of him spelling out HOU, he tried to put that, but the phone auto corrected it. And so instead of typing HOU, it typed HEAVEN. So his post read, instead of reading "Wheels up, on my way to Houston," it said "Wheels up, on my way to heaven." And listen, I'm not sure how long the flight is between Charlotte and Houston, but by the time Twan got to Houston, there was 275 messages in our group chat, and 274 of them were jokes. When I tell you we laughed, I mean, like, it was that day. I mean, like, I wish I'd screenshot some of those memes. I mean, we had memes, we had jokes. It was, and Twan gets off the plane. He don't know. He's none the wiser because he's in the air. He can't see his messages. So when he gets to Houston, he goes to jump in and tell us that he landed. He's bombarded with these jokes, and so he had to go back and read all of the jokes. It was hilarious. But I mean, like, we have inside jokes, and I'll share one with you, like the aforementioned Malachi. Malachi one time with his job, like, Malachi was, to me, Malachi was kind of like Tommy from Martin for you. And now keep in mind, I've known Malachi since I was like a junior in college, right? So we go back 25, almost 30 years. And so for many years, he was like Tommy from Martin. I didn't know where he worked. I know he had a job, but I didn't know where he worked. And so one day he just pops up and he's like, he sends us this, he posts a picture in the group chat and he's like, "Hey, I'm here in Mexico." And so we were like, well, who just goes to work and ends up in Mexico? Like he literally went to work in the morning, and then later that day he posts a picture of him in Mexico, and he was at some plant site doing something or whatever. And so I started the joke that, maybe, just maybe, he was a Mexican drug kingpin. And that right there kind of took a life of its own. And so ever since then, so if you see us, if you see Malachi post something on Facebook and you see me put a Mexican flag under it, that's the joke. Like, it's so many inside jokes. We we keep them going. We keep and again, nobody's above, myself included. Nobody's above getting joked. I like Twan calls me Lil Tim's because for some reason Twan thinks that I only own Tim's, which is not true at all. But somebody made a joke one time, maybe 7 years ago, that I had nothing in my closet but Tim's, and so Twan calls me Lil Tim's. And so it just stuck, you know what I mean? So it's like the jokes keep flowing. We've been there for each other through rough times. We've had a couple of guys who've lost parents. Great times watching our kids graduate. And just being there for each other. And listen, the Cypher is the one place, and I say this all the time, it's the one place where something positive can happen to you. And you come to the group chat to tell everybody that, hey, I got this new promotion, and you will get joked. Like, the Cypher is the one place where if I came on the Cypher today and I said, hey, man, I won the $500 million lottery, I am set for life, blah, blah, blah. Them dudes will say, congratulations. And then 5 minutes later, here come the jokes. It's going to be some kind of jokes about something. That's just who we are. And the Cypher is constant. So we get a lot of memes, a lot of reels, a lot of back and forth, a lot of shit talking, especially during football season, because we're all passionate football fans and we're not fans of all the same teams. Like a lot of the guys in the Cypher are Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I'm a Giants fan. We got a couple of Cowboys fans in there. So it is. Sundays are murderous. They are comical. I mean, comical. But that's who we are. So the group chats, in a nutshell, the group chats keep me sane. The group chats keep me going. They put a smile on my face. And if you're ever around me and you see me laughing, if you see me cracking up, just understand that I'm not ignoring you. I'm in my group chat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We drop new episodes every Thursday. Also, we have merch. Just click the link in the description box that says merch. There you can purchase 12 Kyle Podcast t-shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs. We got it for the low. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle Podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. I will catch you guys next time. 5,000. See ya.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle Podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle Podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.